the idea of freshman year, where I get it from, how did it sprout, and why did it become so successful? Okay, so here's the thing. So my freshman year in high school and how freshman year light school are connected is this. Okay, so freshman year in high school was when I was most popular. When I, if you keep up with the storyline on YouTube, proved everybody wrong in junior high, and I became one of the most popular guys at my new high school that was separated from the other high school that my junior high feeds into. So what happened was this: I had a lot of training going into freshman year, so I learned from all my mistakes. You know, some of the things that I didn't have as a crew with Shinobi, like literally being funny wasn't a problem freshman year, and literally dancing when constructive criticism in 8th grade says that I can't pop a lot for shit. And then I end up becoming one of the best in the new style of dance when I first become a freshman. I was competing in everything, fighting. A lot of people criticized me in 8th grade, but then I beat one of the people on the football team in a fist fight. But I couldn't tackle anyone for shit when I was a freshman, so it literally let people know that there's a whole world of perspective out there. You gotta practice like your trade. So here's the thing about why freshman year flight school and freshman year in my high school are connected. Okay, so here's the thing. So we all know that high school is dead and gone, but we all know that some elements still apply to the real world. And I took advantage of that the moment I got a job. I got to bring out my custom clothing. Now, how does the custom clothing tie into freshman year? So when I was a freshman, I wore the hottest thing at the time, which was Anger Blue. So I kept on rocking Anger Blue shirts after Anger Blue shirts. I had one of the most craziest designs. I had patterns for every shirt, literally, and I had a pair of Adidas with the flower symbol. They weren't really flashy, but they were a start, and I was with the You're a Jerk movement. I wore skinny jeans, and sometimes I wore shirts with purple, sometimes I wore shirts with blue. I had a lot of Hot Topic tendencies. I was punk rock / jerk when I was a freshman in high school. And that tied heavily into my wardrobe in Fanime flight school. They're very connected because everything was based off the popularity from my freshman. Now, freshman year is when I had a lot of bad habits that got dropped. Like, I used to steal, and I used to show off in school, and I used to hang around the wrong people after the wrong crowd, you know, various names such as Arturo and all of them. And I got along with the skateboarding. Skateboarding is something that I tried freshman year, and I knew I could have got good at it, but I was doing it for the wrong reason. I was trying to be just like Isaiah, because I adapted to hip-hop, I adapted to everything. And one thing that's a recurrent issue that I'm stating is a lot of people say that I'm racist and that I don't like black women. When wrong. I have grew up around the wrong black woman, and I've grown around with black women that act like they're not acting white and aren't appreciative of the struggle and play the same games that white girls do. And literally, so that's this topic for another video. I might put it on my regular channel or I might put it on this channel. I don't know what, but the title of the video for the future is called I'm Not Racist, MGTOW. And the best part about freshman year flight school was that is when I was introduced to Karama MGTOW. And Karama was literally my relief for everything. Like, literally, I would literally listen to him while I was on the bus on my way to work. I would do so much, and literally everything was on point. So the great thing about freshman year flight school is that I was still cool on dance, but I wasn't too heavy because I had to get my life together. I got a job, and I wasn't really surrounded by competition. But the difference between flight school freshman and flight school when I was in high school is it started off good and it ended good. Unlike my freshman year in high school where I fell off flat due to that Isaiah incident, due to the misunderstanding. And now, as I say in the other freshman year video, I don't have to try too hard to fit in. Like when it came to skateboarding, this girl told me to do what I knew what I could do instead of forcing me to do all these tricks. It was hella cool. She's like, do it again, do it again. It didn't matter because it wasn't about my skills on the board. It was me. And a bunch of skateboarders that knew how to skateboard correctly did some kickflips in front of me, but it didn't matter because I already got validation from the girl. A lot of people were very understanding freshman year, like they were with me when I was in high school. Like, nobody would give me a certain requirement to live up to when freshman year was literally done right. People accept you because you are a privileged shinobi. No ifs, ands, about it. They actually treat their local civilian like a normal person, except for, like tier lists like girls who are under 18, girls who are just about to graduate, girls who still have a pussy pass, who don't have to work hard for stuff. And the reason why it ties very end is because freshman year wasn't MGTOW based, but it became MGTOW based because it became the shield for freshman year of flight school. When MGTOW became a dead subject is when literally sophomore year of flight school took into place. And the reason why it's so heavily connected is because my thirst for popularity wasn't there anymore, but my opportunity was. And there's this thing called life doesn't get you what you want, life gets you what you train hard for. When I forgot woman existed is when I got the most woman. I forgot people and I forgot everything my freshman year. It's like literally every single thing I did in high school was erased. It was just gone. It was just everything. It literally, people would make out in front of me and I would yawn because I know what they're trying to do. And how does this tie into me in freshman year? I suffered a lot from jealousy when I was a freshman year. I was suffering from jealousy from Isaiah. I was suffering from not being black enough for black people and not being white enough for white people. And freshman year of flight school was a perfect mix because I can express anything. I can rock anything because I've mastered both traits. And the best part about that was when I got to put my skills into full fruition, it was literally a new opportunity, a new skill level, new everything, to the point where the old me didn't exist anymore. So let's go to what made freshman year successful. Now, high school, what made freshman year successful was I had a lot of constructive criticism in junior high that I flipped around. And the reason why I flipped it around was because I trained hard and I wanted to not make the same mistake again. So I made sure I was hella funny. So the first day where field day comes and we're signing up for all our classes and Lily. So we introduce ourselves to our neighbor and I pull a Justin joke. I'm like, you know what? I woke up, I took a shit, and then I ate a fat ass burrito. And then this Asian guy repeated what I said, word by word. Clearly, it was so funny. And then he smiled at the end. He's like, I know what you're doing. You're trying to learn from your mistakes in junior high, and it's working. I got a hug from a senior the very first day on field day. And there's this one guy who was walking with me the entire field day, and he's all like, my name is Christopher. I want you to say Chris. I don't care too much about the Stouffer part. So literally, we start talking about Timothy De La Ghetto, and an American Boy starts playing. He's like, you hear that Timothy De La Ghetto remix? I'm like, ooh! That shit was hot fire. We talked about everything. I had no problem fitting in freshman year. The only thing is, I had the short deficiency, and so, here's the thing. So, there was this guy named Ralph, and Ralph is getting his own versus battle video, but Ralph was a white boy version of me. Short summary, and he was actually a skateboarder, and he was a black guy that listened to gangster rap, and it was so freaking weird. It's like they're listening to hyphy rap like Arturo, but they're acting like white people, and it didn't mix to me. Literally, so him and this other guy named Josh literally comment on my Mohawk obsession, and they called me a Mohawk. I didn't get what they were talking about first thing, and so I'm all like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you're a Mohawk, bro. I'm all like, what the fuck do you mean? So Josh looks at Ralph and he's all like, he doesn't know what he means. And so Josh starts rolling and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? What is a Mohawk? And Ralph is all like, you don't know what you are? That's sad. The reason why this ties heavily in is because I was severely inferior to Ralph in terms of making jokes, but in terms of popularity, I was always up there. There was this one time when I went on a date with these two girls at the mall, and they had me try on a bra in Victoria's Secret, and they posted a picture on their MySpace, and literally, so, but still, I still didn't get anything out of it. I still didn't get a girlfriend. I still don't have this and that, and I was having nothing but popularity, but nothing in return. This year in flight school, we flipped everything around because we're not gonna let that fall short. There was no games being played in freshman year of flight school. So freshman year of flight school was all about bitches, 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 hyphy, dancing, bitches. They're heavily connected because I get to learn from my mistakes that from a whole foundation of high school, I get to learn from all of high school mistakes and apply it when I'm on my way to fame. They're heavily connected because I didn't take it as a second chance, like how I took it in junior high, but opportunity was there after all those years of training. So after the hyperbolic time chamber, just like junior high, I'll get the same opportunity, but I get an even bigger opportunity in a community that I love. Unlike freshman year, when you have all this momentum and you do one thing wrong, when I fucked up basically the same way Isaiah fucked me up freshman year, was when I got fired from my job, I still remained great. So there was no bump in the road like it was freshman year when I was in high school. It went from fan made or Crunchyroll, instead of the most popular guy in school to, oh, he's having a mental breakdown because people call him out on his so-called bullshit. I got in a really bad habit freshman year when I was stealing, and I got into an even more of a dangerous habit when I was in freshman year of flight school. The reason why it didn't last long was because of I was doing continuously bad throughout freshman year in high school, but I was getting no reward from it, but a few appraisals. But freshman year of high school, I was doing something that had way more of a risk to be taken, but I had more of a foundation of good, avoiding all that stupid shit at my job, avoiding that dumb shit over and over again. So literally, that gift was from me because of my deal with God, my good behavior, and me knowing the full story is literally why God rewarded me freshman year of high school, and why I was able to do everything I wasn't in high school was because I remained humble. It's because, here's the lesson I want to tell everyone, because I let go of what I wanted is why I finally got what I wanted at the time where it wasn't shit. And that is for you to have self-control so you don't really fall over. Life isn't like BoJack Horseman when you achieve a goal and you still feel the same. No, that's why God works in mysterious ways, and that's why God has taken some privileges away from me from time and time again, and why he gives those privileges to when you're actually mature enough to handle that situation instead of when you're naive about it, you know. And the great thing about flight school was this literally set off everything, and the exact opposite of what happened to me my freshman year happened flight school year because of me being an entirely new person. So this is me actually getting the chance to have 4 straight years of greatness instead of 4 straight years of torture in high school. And it started from me making A and B's for the Bay Area, to me doing the shit at Fanime, to me getting my gym membership and literally just progressing instead of me having starts. And the reason why there was no starts in flight school versus high school was because of this. They applied a high school principle to me when at the time I felt high school was trivial. It was something I already mastered, but it was in control. It's just like applying for a job when you just get out of college. It literally got to a point where I learned from my mistakes, and every single thing that they couldn't involve me in was because of them, not me. And the turf dance when I was in high school, I actually got to meet some professionals when I was in freshman year of flight school, because I recorded an Eric Stats video. If you want to go back to the Eric Stats video, we bust tut after tut in this little video that I made on my channel, and that was the turf dance that I learned when I was in high school. And I actually got to hang out with professionals, so that's a really good part of freshman year, which is obviously connected, which is heavily connected, because there was this one time where I was at Fanime where I felt like I could have done way better on the dance floor. Yeah, I was impressing these nerds, but I'm like, come on, dude, the high school me could beat that guy in the dance battle. If you want to know a true story that happened with me when I was in high school, is I become one of the top 10 turfers when I was in school. But the guy who I had rivalry with before we entered the school beat RJ. If you know who RJ is, RJ was the guy in Alley vs. Mad's video. So RJ beat the guy who inspired me to tut. And that guy was Randolph the Brutal. I praised Randolph and I praised RJ, and then I figured out that RJ beat Randolph. And here's the thing, so the guy I faced up with freshman year when I was in high school was Kev Heartless. His name is Kevin Tran, but I call him Kev Heartless on his channel. So Kev Heartless became number 1, and he beat RJ after he beat Randolph. So here's what happened. So freshman year, I get into a touch session, and Kevin isn't there at the time, and so I bust out this move that I was saving for Rashad. It was so funny. Rashad's like, oh no, you were saving that don't count. So I bust out with that tut, and one of the skateboarders right after gives me an appraisal. He's like, this dude's hella fucking crazy at tutting your shit, and I freaking loved it. I got to literally show everybody that I improved. They didn't even know my past, and it was so, literally so. Kevin becomes #1 in my school, and he challenges me during PE to a tuck battle, and literally, he's the best in school. Even though I became top 10, I was nothing compared to Kev Hartless. So me and Kevin bust out this tuck, and I last all 3 years, but I tapped out the very first round, and so this Asian teacher named Miss Faye told me to keep going. I'm like, why? I stand no chance against them. And I kept on going. I got beat all 3 rounds. And the whole point of Miss Faye, I didn't understand why I'm older, was she told me I got better. And that I was up against the best. So I have to give myself credit, even if other people don't. And how this is similar to the timeline with flight school when I went to FABME was there were these people who tested to see if I could dance. And what happened was this. So basically, here's what happened is, I bust out, I do a normal tuck, I basically pop a lock, and I'm obviously the best dancer there where it comes up all the dance styles, but there was this one guy who saw a tuck that I did, and when I did that tuck, it angered him because of what it symbolized. I'm gonna share a video later on of all the tucks I've been off screen. This is something I have to do a video for that I can't explain. It's all the tucks that somebody taught me and tucks I've done to catch people off guard. So that's another topic for another video. So I do my thing and they praise me for the dance I am, but they do moves that I specifically can't do. Like there was this fat guy who turned his body like a tornado but then had composure at the end, and I'm all like, what the fuck is that? But he did after I did my shit, so I'm like, oh, you guys suck and shit. And there was this other skinny black guy who did a backflip, literally trying to make all my shit look like shit, but it didn't matter because of this. I knew I'm a better dancer, but I'm like, dude, that fucking sucks. You know, I wasn't ready. I didn't know they could do all that. So here's what I did, is I trained like Saitama. With my 100 series, I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every day before Crunchyroll, and I was able to be back at my prime in high school, even better, and I was able to do moves that even Roz couldn't teach me because I took his principle and I applied it, so I was able to redeem myself, the exact opposite of what happened back then. So me and Goofy Goku say it off, and I became the best dancer at Crunchyroll, and literally, I had the opportunity to prove myself wrong. Fuck everybody else. I disappointed myself in the dance floor, and I got to redeem my own self in the same year. It was a beautiful story I heard unfolded, and how I improved so much. From 10 years, it comes from me, literally, ruining my reputation, literally never getting the chance with those people again, but me getting an even brighter audience and a better opportunity, and me ended up in the Hall of Fame my freshman year in flight school. And the whole formula for freshman year is this. So freshman year when I was in high school was matching fits after matching fits after matching fits, because Your Jerk came out and those checkerboard belts with the colored skinny jeans were hot at the time, and so I had all that shit going on. Literally, I was jealous of the people when I was in high school because they had different shoes for every outfit they wore, but I only had a couple of different pants. I had some black skinny jeans, I had some green, and I had some gray skinny jeans, and that was about it. But they had different color schemes for every outfit. Used to piss me off, and I applied that as soon as I got my own job freshman year in flight school, and that is how I created the formula. And the spanking formula became, literally, I was spank happy when I was freshman year in high school, but it was only to specific girls. Like there was this one girl who had every girl's eye in junior high, and literally, I gave her a good grease facts, literally. That was kind of spank happy, but I didn't go literally crazy like how I did in flight school, because, you know, I was cocky due to my clout, which is why I got to roast D. He heard all those rumors. Hey, you heard this, that, and literally, so that was crazy. But the lesson behind that is freshman year when I was in high school, I was fooling myself because I didn't have to put as nearly as work in, but that changed as soon as I tried to get a new habit. So what I did when I was in flight school freshman is I stopped trying to act like I mastered things like skateboarding. I stopped trying to act like I mastered things in terms of book smarts and stuff like that, and I worked with what I had, which is why everybody was understanding of my situation, why everybody was great. Even the people at my job, when I quit, were understanding of the situation. You know, everything that didn't happen when I was a freshman, that, oh, you tried too hard to fit in, oh, you were jealous of Isaiah, that's why the shit blew over. All you had to do was beat yourself. You had everything going freshman year. What's the problem, bro? It's like all those people that supported me got kicked out for a reason because they pulled the same shit with them and they didn't tolerate it. I was forced to tolerate it. The full story is everybody knew I was better than Isaiah, but Isaiah had literally puppy dog after puppy dog for attention. Me, I didn't have that. I was a one-man band, and I didn't have to worry about women my freshman year in flight school. So here's what happens. So I matched a woman, and I feel kind of insecure after what they did at the dance floor because I worked really, really hard at dance. I was working really harder at dance than I was at women. And the fact that I literally almost got clowned on, if it wasn't for the fact that I was ready, and the fact that they tried to catch me off guard with moves I didn't know how to do, is the reason why I came back. And the best part about that is I knew that couldn't stay. I gave myself constructive criticism, like I'm gonna learn a new trade the next year in flight school so we won't have this problem. And that is where I learned how to play basketball.